Hello everybody, it is Ole Gamer Joe back with another Media Moogle review today, and today we're taking a look at Wallachia Reign of Dracula. This game was developed by Megami Games and published by Storybird Studio and Pixel Heart. It is currently $9.99 on Steam, and essentially what you have is a throwback action platforming shooter, not a Castlevania game as it may look like on the outside, which surprised me a bit. It actually doesn't really play like those games so much, it plays more like a Contra or a Gunstar Heroes almost, where you have unlimited amount of ammo, giving it a little more of an arcade action style feel. You'll take control of a young lady named Elcin, who is on a quest for revenge after Dracula burns down her family home. Inside of this home, her mother and father perish, but her brother is taken by Dracula, and she sets out on a quest to try to get him back. You'll have two main methods of attack in Wallachia, which include arrows, which are endless, though you can find upgrades throughout levels that make them more powerful, and also your sword, which is rather short, but it works at close range pretty well. You'll also have access to some really cool spells, including the ability to summon a wolf of sorts, and invincibility, which is really helpful if you can get enough orbs to use it. Unfortunately, collecting orbs is very difficult in this game, not to find them, but to have enough to cast these spells, because on every death you're going to lose everything and have to grind it all out again, so you really don't get to see as many of these spells or use them as much as I would have liked in my experience with the game so far. You also have a slide ability, which I didn't find particularly useful because it doesn't actually take out enemies, at least in the times that I tried to use it to take out enemies, and you can shoot your arrows in various directions, which is helpful, but sometimes a little bit difficult to pull off. And speaking of difficulty, Wallachia is one of the hardest games I've played in recent memory. I'm going to be honest with you, I was unable to complete the game. I made it to about halfway through level 3. I was playing these levels over and over again, and so you'll have to mentally prepare yourself for the fact that you are going to die a lot, need to learn patterns of levels, and have to memorize certain areas if you're going to succeed in this game. And the game certainly doesn't make it easy on you. There are 3 difficulty options, but unfortunately it's one of those games where the easy mode doesn't allow you to complete the whole game or unlock achievements, but the normal mode only gives you 3 continues, very limited life. You can pick up more life in a level, but it's pretty rare. You're going to suffer the consequences of death a lot in this game, and unfortunately that's going to bring you all the way back to the beginning of a level to go through it again. And because there is no password system and there is no way to escape the fact that you will inevitably die in this game, that means you have to do it in one sitting, and you're going to have to play through the same levels a lot to get good at this game. So it's a game that takes pride in its challenge, and some people are going to love that. Some people like me are going to be a little too frustrated by it, which is a shame because there are so many great things about Wallachia. I would have loved to see the entirety of the game, even if it meant going through on easy mode, which again does give you 9 continues and makes things a little more tolerable, but is still very difficult in my experience, making it a hard game to actually see through to the end. I think people that love that old school challenge will ultimately be able to do so, and that's a great thing, but I think it's going to alienate a lot of people that just want to enjoy the experience and be fairly challenged but not super frustrated. Unfortunately, that doesn't appear to be an option at this time. Graphically, I really enjoyed the medieval setting of this game. It has a really nice vibe to it. The artwork is quite beautiful. The main character animates nicely. It's a colorful game with a lot of personality, and it looks great in motion, actually. The developers have even gone as far as to enlist some pretty good talent for voice actors, including Buckland and Robert Belgrade. Kira has voiced a ton of games herself, including Nier Automata, The Awakened Fate Ultimatum, Fairy Fencer F, and Skullgirls, just to name a few. And Robert, well, he was actually best known as being the original English dubbed voice for Alucard in Symphony of the Night, so I thought that was really cool. He's also been in the Tekken series, he's done a bunch of work, so they were not joking around. They got some pretty talented voice actors and actresses for this game, and it's mostly really great actually. It sounds fantastic. There's a certain cheesiness and nostalgia to the voice acting that really brings you back, and it just works for the atmosphere and setting of Wallachia. The sound effects and soundtrack of the game are also top-notch. This is a really symphonic, rocking soundtrack full of great melodies. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Definitely harkens back to some of the Castlevania games as well. This game seems to really be rooted in Castlevania for a game that doesn't so much play exactly like a Castlevania game. So the question becomes, should you play Wallachia? And I guess it depends on your level of tolerance for difficulty. My personal opinion is that this is a game that does way too much right to be bogged down by being overly difficult. I think that is going to alienate a certain part of its audience that really just wants to enjoy the game casually, like myself. I want to see the entirety of this game. I'm sad that I was unable to because of the difficulty. I hope that the developers go back and find a way to make this more accessible for everybody, because when it works, Wallachia is an excellent throwback arcade-style action game that I had a great time playing. Unfortunately, the difficulty bogs it down to a level of frustration that will make people angry. I am all for an old-school challenge, but at some point in Wallachia, I realized that it was more frustration than fun. I think hardcore gamers that relish in challenges are going to have a great time with this game, but for us casuals here, I do hope that they make the game a little easier for us to enjoy the entirety of it. For more on Wallachia, Reign of Dracula, and all of our other content, please head over to MediaMoogle.net. And if you have enjoyed our video content today, please do hit the subscribe button below. It helps us greatly. We thank you so much for watching.